Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hello there, it's Mike Matthews. Welcome to episode 2669. Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast. My name would happen to be
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike. It was almost going to be a cool podcast, but something happened at the last minute. I was supposed to have on a special guest, but that got blown up because something pertaining to work came up, and I basically had to cancel the interview and take care of stuff.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Forgetful people. I had to cover for forgetful people yet again. Yes. So
Mike's
that was
Daily
what happened
Podcast.
with that part.
Yeah!
But that's okay because we're going to cover for the fact that we didn't have that on the podcast. We're going to have some other thing. Did you have any Smash Mouth albums? I did not. I don't think I have any. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't they have something called Astro Lounge? That was the big one, I think. I might have that one somewhere. But the lead singer died. That's crazy to me. He was only 56, and we lost Jimmy Buffett, who was only 76. His was skin cancer related. I'm not sure exactly what happened with the lead singer of Smash Mouth, but yeah, well, not to start off on such a low note, such a sad note, but Smash Mouth is a local band. They are from San Jose, formed in 1994. Dang, and then things really took off. They were by the late 90s, within a few years, they were huge. They were Walking on the Sun. That was the big song for them. Steve Harwell, the lead singer, he had a rare liver condition. Apparently, that's what caused the liver failure to happen. And he also, just like with Jimmy Buffett, was surrounded by family and friends.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Which I guess if you gotta go, that would be the way to do it, is when you're surrounded by family and friends. So, yeah, they started in 94. Within a few years, they had the huge hit Walking on the Sun. And then the ginormous hit All Star was in 1999. Remember that song getting played all the time? Yeah. And then I think they had the hit song from Shrek. They did the cover of I'm a Believer. A song by Neil Diamond that I'm sure Neil was very happy about, that got popular by somebody else. The late great Basil the Boxer. He was a big fan of Neil Diamond. And Neil Diamond, as of this recording, is still with us, amazingly. And he had written Red Red Wine, and then that was covered by the band UB40 that had a huge hit with it. The Monkees, of course, covered a bunch of stuff that he did, Neil Diamond. And then I'm a Believer, he wrote that, which the Monkees had a hit with, but it was Neil Diamond. So all those checks going to Neil. Harwell dealt with multiple health conditions in the years prior to his death, including addiction. He'd been diagnosed with cardiomyopathy several years ago, according to previous interviews with People. The condition occurs when the heart muscles can't effectively pump blood to the rest of the body. And it can later lead to heart failure, blood clots, and cardiac arrest, according to the Mayo Clinic. Harwell later developed Wernicke's encephalopathy, a sudden brain and memory disorder that's caused by a lack of vitamin B1, which causes brain damage. People with a history of alcohol use disorder are more likely to develop the condition. Apparently, that last concert he did in upstate New York, he had slurred words, and so said some things that people were like, what's going on? So that's what happened there. But hey, today, if you're listening to this on the 6th, is National Coffee Ice Cream Day, because that's a coffee drink. It's not really, it's got the coffee flavor. I don't know if it actually has any coffee beans in it. I love coffee ice cream, but, you know, it's something I can do without. If it's available, if it's being served.
A fine article.
You silly great fat article.
It's also National Read a Book Day, so it's like the Reading Rainbow thing, or what's his name from Next Generation. He, of course, was also in the music video to Cameo's Word Up, and he does this great dance in it. That is the most... Go back and watch that video. It is so surreal and bizarre and 80s and cool in every possible way. They need to make music videos like that now.
Ginormous.
Just LaForge. Geordie LaForge was his name on Next Generation. And I'm going to look it up before my brain can find out. Let's see. Played by fictional character LeVar Burton. I always forget his name, LeVar Burton, because Geordie LaForge is almost as cool as the name LeVar Burton. But yes, thank you very much, LeVar, for all that you've done. Wait, what?
The Fascinating Material Project.
NPR, who I love to make fun of because they just basically... I don't know what... At the top of the hour, they got verifiable news. I mean, in that it is very news-like. I don't know how true it is. Some of it may be a bit false, but it is pretty reliable. Then, the rest of the hour, these news stories from these half-baked podcasts that they pull from... They get these podcasters on. Why are you taking this world-renowned news service that has been a mainstay, a stalwart on radio, and litter it with all these young, idiot podcasters that are TikTok stars? I don't get it. NPR. Maybe that's why John Lansing is retiring. He's NPR's president and chief executive. He's had enough, but he's being forced out. Oh, well, look at this. It's apparently, as we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Anyway.
The last place on earth. And this, according to NPR, that last story, by the way, about the all-star fella, Steve Harwell, it's Yahoo is where that came from. But NPR chief executive John Lansing says he intends to retire at the end of 2023, according to NPR.org. His 4-year tenure will be defined by his handling of the extreme challenges of the pandemic, a racial reckoning, and headwinds in the podcasting industry that led to severe layoffs.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
In the podcast world, which I thought was hilarious, and it made sense because as completely insignificant as this podcast is, those podcasts are worse. And they're reading a script, and it's just, there's nothing real or authentic or austere about it. The last podcast I kind of talked about that, about how society and our world and our social media, you know, there was a trajectory going on, at least since the 80s, that every year we get a little more realistic on TV, to the fact that to the point where we had reality TV. Then reality TV turned out to be fake. And that whole real thing, people being real, just disappeared. And then you had the real world, which was before all that, but then people being real, what happens when people are just real? And that was all edited to heck and not real. So then you've got social media where people you think are being real, showing pictures of their daily lives and whatnot. Nope, it's all now pushed through a filter. And when people upload a YouTube video, well, they do a bunch of edits. So you don't see all the flubs. You don't see all the realness. But Mike, people don't want to see that. Are people aware? Like TikTok, it's just showing you a little piece, a little moment that's been edited up the yin-yang. It's not real. Despite some bitterness and recrimination among newsroom staff over the layoffs, including sharp questions about executive strategy in podcasting, the top official of NPR's largest union has consistently praised Lansing's leadership.
Mike's Out of Left Field Recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
Striking a deal with Amazon Music to run the Guy Raz podcast, How I Built This, exclusively for a week before it released to the public. Guy Raz, How I Built This. Yes, it's a great podcast. I remember listening to it.
Whoa! Mike's Matthewsman Park.
The front panel will close automatically. Please remain seated at all times.
Yeah, that's pretty good. NPR has now licensed its Tiny Desk concert format in South Korea. And I've watched a lot of those. Yes, those are fascinating. Some of your favorite musicians getting up there, playing just with the real basics. And that's fun. But what am I saying? I'm saying that it is National Coffee Ice Cream Day. Oh, if you're listening to this on the 7th, it is National Beer Lovers Day. Didn't we just have something like that? It's also National Salami Day. And if you like salami and beer, you have a wonderful breath. But those sometimes go together. Also National Acorn Squash Day, a little bit healthier for you. And National Neither Snow Nor Rain Day. Okay. Boy, I would love to know the origin story of that. Neither snow nor rain. Let's see. It's to recognize the dedication of postal workers, to recognize the dedication and perseverance of postal workers who brave all kinds of weather to deliver mail to people's homes and businesses. The day honors their commitment to public service and their important role in keeping the country connected. Aw, that's one for you, all you people that work for the Postal Service. Okay. Café Anyway, Mike Matthews here. I got some other interesting bits of news I'd like to bring along to you. But yes, I do enjoy more real media. And when I listen to NPR, I hear so much Phil. I hear so much what is this doing on here? Magnification. Perhaps you are just into streaming Netflix and Disney and Amazon Prime all day. They have been on a price-raising rampage. We'll be paying even more to watch shows and movies online soon. A bundle of Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Max, Peacock, Paramount Plus, and Apple TV subscriptions went from $76.43 a month to $94.43 a month in the past year, going up roughly $15. That's a 24% surge versus roughly 3% increase in overall consumer prices. So yeah, 3% increase in that burrito you want to buy down at the local shop, which, by the way, they're raising their prices because of those delivery apps. The delivery app people are raising their prices. So restaurants are raising prices for what? I thought people were going to pick up their food these days. People were getting less lazy, wanting to get out of the house, actually go out and eat.
You will travel into the incredible universe.
That seems to me just a bunch of malarkey. Another reason restaurants are using to try and raise prices. So a 24% surge, though. 3% in your normal life, 24% when it comes to streaming. Disney's latest earnings call had a company leader expressing delight that their recent price increases haven't turned off viewers. Netflix, Hulu, and Peacock have significant untapped pricing power. Max and Paramount Plus do not have pricing power. Disney Plus is somewhere in the middle. In other words, you're probably going to pay more for Netflix, Hulu, and Peacock before too long. And if subscribers do begin to balk at price hikes, there's always based video on demand. Oh yeah, the AVOD or AD based video on demand. This is from Rob Black. He does a show about money and businesses and business trends. I produce the podcast. It's called The Rob Black Show. And he pulls some fascinating information like that. And yes, the mall has not died. its death has been greatly exaggerated. From 2021 to 2022, retail sales at malls increased 11% to over 800 billion. And you know, we get so much now delivered to us, but still people want to go to malls. And someone I work with who is a millennial, actually we were trying to figure that out the other day. He said, I don't know if I'm a millennial or Gen Zer. But anyway, Café Anyway. If you thought the days of going to the mall to nibble on Auntie Anne's pretzel and leave smelling of Bath and Body Works were over, think again. Because younger people, like this guy I work with, he loves going to the mall.
Magnification.
From 2021 to 2022, the sales in malls increased 11% to over 800 billion. Foot traffic at top tier malls, where the average shopper makes $200,000 plus per year, increased 12% in 2022 compared to 2019. And that it once looked like the rise of e-commerce would kill them all, but brands and retailers have invested in omni-channel marketing, which promotes both online shopping and physical stores to drive growth. Plus, Gen Zers might have missed the halcyon mall days of Aeropostale and Hollister. I used to love going into Hollister because you'd walk about halfway through the store. There was a wall of TVs that were showing you the live footage of a video camera on the Huntington Beach Pier. And no matter where you were in the country, like I remember one time being in Washington, D.C. going into one time in Alabama going into one, and there you are surrounded by TVs watching in real time the Huntington Beach and the waves crashing in California. And I used to get all misty-eyed, like, I want to go back to California. And I'm back, and I'm here, and I've been here a while. But they are mall loyal Gen Zers, roughly the same age. The same share of Gen Z respondents shopped at brick and mortar stores as online. So 97% shop at brick and mortar stores, 95% shop online. Retailers expect to add 1,000 more stores during this year and towards the end. Airlines get lost luggage rates down to pre-pandemic levels. They've started to drop, and Starbucks has added a third pumpkin drink to the fall menu. I was balking at Starbucks and their wonderful pumpkin spice latte. And as I was doing the last podcast, I got a call from someone that said they were bringing one over to me. And I was saying, wow, podcasting's cool. But I'm only going to have one this year, I think. We'll see. I had a cold drink, by the way. I had the cold brew. And apparently cold drinks are on the rise. More people are ordering cold drinks at Starbucks in America. So Starbucks adds their third pumpkin drink to the fall menu as they celebrate 20 years of the pumpkin spice latte.
Woo!
The iced pumpkin cream chai latte is the new one. And the Hollywood writers' strike threatens to disrupt the 23-24 television season. It's already being disrupted. They're not resolving the strike, and the writers are trying to find other jobs now. I heard today somebody, he's going into making snow globes and making money off of selling snow globes. So, gosh, it's tough. And it's tough because these people that got into show business, they love it. They love to perform. They love to write. And now they're really starving artists again. They thought they made it to the big time, but nope. So far, the strike has cost the economy a whopping $2.5 billion. Restaurants, catering companies, trucking agencies, dry cleaning businesses, they're all being hit by the strike. And since June, U.S. COVID hospitalizations have surged by 2/3 as a new variant called Eris has risen to dominance. That's not to be confused with Taylor Swift's Eras tour. This is Eris with an I. Updated boosters still weeks away are expected to be effective against Eris. And as we are outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last podcast, by the way, was called Pumpkin in honor of pumpkin lattes, but go to someone else other than Starbucks to get yours. I'm sure the wonderful mom and pop coffee place that you can access, maybe it's down the street, maybe it's a drive to get to, but I'm sure they can do a good job making it too. Or not. Let me know if they do or not. You can call me at 510-228-4640. Look who's here. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. No one else makes snow globes like me, Mike Matthews. Yes, there's some fantastic snow globes. In fact, that one just made a noise. It sounded like a cat. Yeah, that's my meowing snow globe, Mike Matthews. You want it? Yeah. Pay for it, Mike Matthews. Okay. Well, give me a minute. I'll see if I have any cash. We spent some on that ice cream truck that went by a little bit earlier, but dang it, they got us again. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, this show has been very informative. Yes, it is. It has. It was. It's done. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. And with more ways to reach me, it's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!